All right, shalom, shalom, shalom to the family out there. Shalom to our listeners. And I want to welcome you to Just a Word and our Shabbat teaching as we continue today. And today we look at true worship. This teaching should be very good as it brings out a whole lot, including an insight into the name of the Most High. It brings out so many different things. As I think I said last week, don't watch the titles. The teachings really do bring out so much. So, we begin true worship. And we begin at John 4. Is a John. That is how Jamaicans would say John. John 4, 23 to 24. And, by the way, I want to welcome you, Ziona. I haven't seen you for a while. Okay. And, yeah, please pay attention today. John 4, 23 to 24 tells us about true worship. John 4:23 says, "But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in ruach and in truth, in ruach and amat. For the Father seeketh such to worship him." So the Father seeks those who are true worshippers, who worship in ruach and in truth. Those are whom the Father seeks to worship him. The problem is we have an entire world of people who are not true worshippers, who do not truly worship the Most High in ruach and amat, in spirit and in truth, and yet these people still have hopes of the kingdom, of still entering into the kingdom, of still being accepted by the Messiah when he returns. This is an exclusive statement here. And John 4:24 says, "Yahuah is a ruach, and they that worship him must worship him in ruach and in truth." In ruach and amat. Very important. What it's actually telling us here, Yahuah is a ruach, but we are what? Flesh and ruach. So, if you are worshiping the Most High, the flesh has to be cast aside so that our ruach, can connect to the Father, because the Father is a ruach. Okay? So our connection comes to the Most High in ruach. We cannot have a mind that we say we are worshiping him and we are a believer, and we are not in ruach. We are not in what they call spirit. I do not like to say the word spirit because that is a bad name. As I said before, they like to give the names of their gods, so we keep worshiping their gods. That word holy there, I think it's an Indian god that comes from. Yeah? So I'll say ruach. So we have to connect with the Father's ruach. Now, let's look at the connection between water and the ruach, because we have to do so before we go forward. The connection between water and the ruach. In the scriptures, I didn't even check. I didn't even check if we were on YouTube. Yeah, in the scriptures, let me check in the meantime. In the scriptures, water is usually used to refer to, okay, it's there. Water is usually used to refer to spirit or ruach. John 7:37. "In the last day, that great day of the feast, Yahushua stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture had said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water." Out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. But this spake he of the ruach, which they that believe on him should receive. For ruach hakadosh was not yet given, because that Yahusha was not yet exalted. So we have to qualify and show that the ruach is aligned with water, because we're going to the woman at the well to look into the conversation between Yahusha and the woman to get this connection between the ruach. Now, before we go there, the word says in Isaiah 8 verse 20, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So we will have to go back to the law and the testimony. And we go to the book of Shemot, Exodus 32 verses 1 to 4. We're looking at false worship. We're going to move from false worship into true worship. And in looking at false worship, we'll get insights into our errors, insights into even the name of the Most High, insights into so many things in looking at the false worship. Exodus or Shemot 32 verses 1 to 4. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so Exodus 32 verses 1 to 4. When the people saw that Moses delayed to come down from the mountain, the people gathered themselves together to Aaron and said to him, up, make us, they have gods there, but the true word there is Elohim. Make us Elohim, who shall go before us. As for this Moses, the man who brought us up out of the land of Mitzrayim, we do not know what has become of him. So Aaron said to them, take off the rings of gold that are in the ears of your wives, your sons and your daughters, and bring them to me. So all the people took off the rings of gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aaron. Now, false worship. Before we go any further, let me just speak a little about false worship. I need to get this duplicate. All right. Now, where is it? Yeah. Now, false worship has to do with this, with the external. Yes? So when the worship is false, it has to do with the flesh. It is not deeply internal in the ruach. So that is why they had to take off the earrings and everything to make something that this can see or hear or feel or touch or taste, so that this can actually connect with it. But true worship has nothing to do with this. Yes? True worship has to do with the inward man. And the inward man, that is the deep ruach, the ruach that is hidden inside of us. Because the ruach is hidden inside of us, the inward man, the inner man, is hidden inside of us, because this is the bully. This is the bully that takes charge and is selfish, self-serving, wants to get its satisfaction, and wars against the ruach inside of us to ensure that it has dominance. Now, when it has the dominance, then it is in its comfort zone and it is comfortable. As long as it is uncomfortable, it gets miserable, annoyed, etc. That is why this has to find material things to satisfy it in order to get its comforts. That is why we go, when we are in the flesh, we are so material. I want to buy this. I want to get me a new dress. I want to get me a new shirt. I want to get me a new this. I need a new car. I need a new this. It is this that is bossing it around. And it has something in it connected to sin that makes us so greedy, so selfish, so unloving to others, so selfish, that in order to get what it wants, it has no limits. Different people have different levels of self-control, of course. But in extremes, this has no limit. It will do anything to get what it wants. That is why people steal. That is why people kill. That is why people are grudgeful, are envious, are covetous. That is why people are selfish and all of that. Because this always wants what it wants. It always attaches to material things. Because this is of this world. The inner man can connect with things that is not of this world, that is of the world to come. So we have this battle. Yes? Last week we looked at Yahuah saying, my kingdom is not of this world. So if his kingdom is not of this world and we are driven by this, then we cannot see his kingdom. But if we are driven by the inner man, by the ruach inside of us, that connects with the Father through the ruach Mashiach, through ruach HaKadosh, then we have a chance of the kingdom that is to come. Okay? That's just an understanding of idolatry. Simple, my basic understanding or explanation of idolatry. So let's go back to the calf worship now. So all the people took off the rings of gold that were in their ears and brought them to Aharon. And he received the gold from their hand and fashioned it with a graving tool and made a golden calf. And they said, these are your, in English they have gods, but in Hebrew it would be, these are your Elohim, O Yasharal, who brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim. Now this verse here, of course, has many understanding. So, Moses brought them. Moses had gone. Yeah? Was 40 days, 40 nights in the wilderness. They said, hey, we cannot wait on him. So, what we do when we are in the flesh, we look for a man. Let me get back and show my ugly face. We look for a man to bridge the worship with the Father. I want you to look at it very carefully. That is why in Christianity, the believers, they worship their pastor. Oh, pastor said this, pastor. Because they are in the flesh, they cannot connect with the Father's ruach. So there is an intermediary that is there, that is Moses. That if Moses moves, they have no worship. Yeah? If Moses goes away, they have no worship. But the true worshiper, no matter who moves, no matter who goes away, they are in the ruach, they have the connection to the Father through ruach Mashiach, ruach HaKadosh, what they call the Holy Spirit. Okay? So what the people had to do now, when Moses is taken away, they have no connection. They have to bridge a connection. They have to set up a connection. And that connection has to be something physical. It cannot be something spiritual. Because they are in the flesh. And they want something in the flesh to connect with, to say that they are worshiping the Most High. That is why in religion, there has to be certain, emblems, images, pictures, certain things that they use as part of their worship. That is why In Christianity, you have to have a JC, blonde hair, blue-eyed JC, and we have to have his picture on the wall. And we cannot do without that picture on the wall, and we do anything to keep that picture on the wall. And we also keep that picture in our minds, that image in our minds, because we are in the flesh. And that is why we have to have like emblems. We have to have a what? A cross. We have to have something tangible because we cannot walk in the ruach. When you are in the ruach, you don't need any form of image, any form of symbol, any form of emblem, nothing for you to be in connection with the Most High. And that is why many of the Hebrew Israelite groups, you see, they put up that 6-pointed star. And you can't get them to get rid of that thing. The same Star of David. That's why the Jews have to have the Star of David. You have to have something tangible that you can see, hear, smell, taste, touch. That is how the flesh worships. But when you're in the ruach, we're going to speak about the ruach a little more. All right. So, they said, these are your Elohim, O Yasharal, who brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim. Now they know the name of the Elohim who brought them up out of Mitzrayim. Before we go, let's get the meaning of Elohim. Because this word gods here is actually Elohim or Elohim in the Hebrew. Let's go. Meaning of gods. These be thy gods, thy Elohim, O Yasharal. The meaning of Elohim, plural. Gods in the ordinary sense, but specifically used in the plural. Thus, especially with the article of the supreme Elohim, Yahuah, of the supreme. So it's speaking about the Most High. Occasionally applied by way of deference to magistrates, and sometimes as a superlative. Angels exceeding, whatever. So it's actually referring to the Most High. I want you to look at this very carefully, because it's something that we have to understand. Okay? These be thy Elohim. So what they were saying is that this golden calf is Yahuah. This golden calf is Yahuah who brought you out of Egypt. Now, when you have the Most High, when you have the Most High, I don't want to forget it, but I know I might have to, I think I had it prepared. When you have the Most High and you're in the flesh, people will tell you that they're worshiping the Most High. But they have to come with a false worship along with it because they're in the flesh. That's where the golden calf comes in. It is the worship of Yahuah, but the worship of Yahuah with an idol. It is like, what you say now? You're trying to eat dinner and then dessert. So it's like you're trying to eat the dessert with the dinner. If you're eating the dessert with the dinner, the dessert, usually sweet, will spoil your appetite for the dinner. That's what's happening. So the golden calf is a dessert that they use to disturb the worship of the Most High. Okay? Because we are using this to illustrate, and we're going to show that there are people in this world who believe that the name of Yahuah is an idol. Because Israel, the southern kingdom, the northern kingdom, they were worshipping the golden calf, but they were also worshipping Yahuah. But we're trying to show people that the worship of the golden calf is fleshly worship, but it is an additional worship, things that they add on to the worship of Yahuah. It's not that Yahuah is an idol, it's that they use an idol in their worship to Yahuah. And that the people who say Ahaya Ashar Ahaya is his name, because the name of Yahuah is an idol. They say this. Okay? Because they don't have this understanding that we are going to get today. So let's continue. So we looked at the worship of the golden calf, the meaning of Elohim. So Elohim can refer to only one Yahuah. As written in Shemoth 3:15. I'm going to read it as it is the Hebrew for God. And I'm leaving it with the name as it is written in the King James Version to let us get an idea. And it would have, and God said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Yasharal, Yahuah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. So this is the plural form. So when they translate Elohim into English, it is plural. It is God's. So they make us believe that when they make one calf, it is saying that it is more than one God. No, that one calf, it says, these are your Elohim. Yeah? Which means it is that Elohim that brought you out of Egypt. Who is who? Yahuah Sabaoth. Because Yahuah is one. He's referred to as Elohim in Exodus 3:15, but in Deuteronomy 6 verse 4 it says, Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuah or Eluah or Elohim is one Yahuah, is one. Okay? So worship of the golden calf was worship of Yahuah as an idol. They tried to make him into an idol because of their fleshly, idolatrous worship. So, when you see this, there was a stone that was found called the Moabite stone. I forget the other name. And there you see the arrow pointing to Yahuah's name that was in the stone. Now, this is an account of the battle that took place between Moab and the house of Israel in the days of Omri, I think. Yeah, in the days of Omri. And the Bible tells you Omri did evil, as is every king, the 20 kings of the northern kingdom before they were sent away. Every one of them did evil in the sight of the Most High. So the Ahaya people were saying, oh, these people are worshiping because of idols. Therefore, and they worship, this was the name that they worship. Therefore, this name that they worship is the name of idols. No. I watched even a video on this, and he was giving the detail of how this was the account of the Moabites who were speaking about how they got victory over the house of Israel. And they told us how they defeated Israel, and they mentioned the name of Israel's mighty one. Okay? So, we just look at the golden calf in the Torah. Let's look at the resuscitation of this golden calf. As a matter of fact, Jeroboam doubled it. Before we go there, let's go to verses 5 to 6. Let's go to verses 5 to 6. Yeah. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made a proclamation and said, tomorrow shall be a feast to Yahuah. People, you see this teaching here. Don't let anyone come anytime again to bother you about the name of Yahuah. Yeah? Aaron says, this is a feast to Yahuah. Remember, it says, these are your Elohim who brought you out of Egypt. The very next verse, it says, tomorrow is a feast to Yahuah. That means that golden calf, they were worshiping that golden calf as Yahuah. It's the same thing that Jeroboam did. Same thing. Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, I think, who caused Israel to sin. Same thing he did. So when they see the artifacts of the house of Israel with the name of Yahuah, it is Yahuah being worshipped as a golden calf. It's not that the golden calf is Yahuah. It's Yahuah being worshipped as a golden calf. Okay? I don't know if it's a big deal to you, but it's a big deal to me. Or sometimes the right thing, the Ashar people come and start, yeah. So we just have to bring it out. And they rose up early. No. This verse is also very important. And they rose up early the next day and offered burnt offerings and brought peace offerings. And the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. Hey. And rose up to play. When you are worshiping in the flesh, you have to play. You will play. That is why when you look in some Christian worship, you'll see them doing all sorts of crazy back. Yeah, so that is why whenever you're worshiping in the flesh, you are going to play because it's all about entertainment. That is why Christianity is so rife with entertainment. It's so much on entertainment. The gospel music that is entertaining, the church that is entertaining, the big band, the noise, the excitement, the dancing, the everything. This is it, worship in the flesh. And verse 7, and Yahuah said to Moses, go down, for your people, whom you brought out of the land of Mitzrayim, have corrupted themselves. When we go to flesh worship, we are going to correct ourselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way that I commanded them. They have made for themselves, nobody told them to make it. They made it to satisfy themselves, a golden calf, and have worshipped it and sacrificed to it and said, these are your Elohim, O Yasharal, who brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim. What is that? They sacrificed unto it and they worshipped it. They're going to worship it and call it Yahuah. Oh, Yahuah. But to Yahuah, you're not worshiping me. You're worshiping this golden calf. Even if you call it my name, you're not worshiping me. You are worshiping. That's why we tell people, that's why it said in his Torah, don't call on the names of other Elohim. Don't call on their name. Don't let it even be mentioned in your mouth. Because you cannot worship me with the names of other idols, because to me, to Yahuah, you are worshiping these idols smartly. And this is how people do it. In Christianity, they will tell you, oh, we all worship one God. And yet still you tell them, oh, his name is not God. His Messiah's name is not Jesus. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And they keep on going after the same name. Why? Because they are worshiping those idols. If they were truly worshiping the Most High, and they got the true name of the Most High, then, let me get it. If they were truly worshiping the Most High, and they got the true name, they would have rejected the false name. But no, they want to worship the false name because their hearts are idolatrous. All right? So Jeroboam, poor Jeroboam. That's what we'd say in this world, but for the Most High, it's not poor Jeroboam, it's wicked Jeroboam. Jeroboam, all over the scriptures, it is spoken about Jeroboam who caused Israel to sin. Jeroboam. The amount of times we see that. Jeroboam causes Israel to sin. The return of the golden calves. Why is it this Ezekiel? No, it's not Ezekiel. It's the wrong. It's not Ezekiel. What is it again? First Kings. Let me get it. I got the wrong chapter and verse. Yeah, family. Just stay tuned. This should be a very interesting. Yeah, it's 1 Kings 14, 1 Kings 12, I think. Yes. 1 Kings 12. All right, let me change it so in case anyone wants it for reference. All right, just bear with me, please. 1 Kings 12. And I don't think it's 1 to 11. Let me get it. 1 Kings 12. And let me get the exact verse now. And the exact verse is let's start at verse 26, from verse 26 to verse 33. 25. 1 Kings 25 to 33. I'm just trying to set up so in case anyone needs it for reference. All right, that should do it. And we are there. Then Jeroboam built Shechem in the hill country of Ephraim and lived there. And he went out from there and built Peniel. And Jeroboam said in his heart, now the kingdom will turn back to the house of David. So Jeroboam calculated. He's in the northern kingdom. The kingdom just split. He got 10 northern tribes. Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, got 2 southern tribes. 2.5 because the Levites were there. So Jeroboam is saying, boy, these people will have to go up to Jerusalem to worship. What a thing. If they go up to Jerusalem to worship, Jeroboam is going to just woo them and capture them. Because if they have to go regularly to worship, Jerusalem is going to be the capital. Yes? And my people will turn against me and kill me. And once again want the one kingdom and kill me. So let's see what Jeroboam did. If these people go up to offer sacrifices in the temple of Yahuah at Jerusalem. Now Jeroboam did not say, if these people go to sacrifice to Yahuah. No, he said, in the temple at Jerusalem. What Jeroboam did, he gave an alternative form of worship. And we're going to speak something about this alternative form of worship. Now, these things, people, will bring out things in our modern time with Christianity and all sorts of religions that are about that you will get more understanding. Just think about this. So, then the heart of this people will turn again to their master, to Rehoboam, king of Yehudah, and they will kill me and return to Rehoboam, king of Yehudah. So let's see what Jeroboam did. So the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, I forgot, I didn't even start taping this. Yes, 1 Kings 12, verse 28. So the king took counsel and made 2 calves of gold. And he said to the people, you have gone up to Jerusalem long enough. Behold your Elohim, O Yasharal, who brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim. Who brought up the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim? It was Yahuah Sabaoth. So Jeroboam was saying, this is Yahuah. He did the very same thing that was done in the wilderness. And he set one in Bethel, and the other he put in Dan. then this thing became a sin. For the people went as far as Dan to be before one. Now, when people are given this choice, you wonder why. Then why did these people accept this? Because if you are in the flesh, then you will want something that pertains to the flesh. The nice, shining, pretty, golden object is going to allure you. Is there anything to do with this thing when they say diamond is a girl's best friend? We love gold. We love silver. We love shiny object. When someone has a nice car, man, you have some people, as soon as the car gets dirty, they shine it off. Nice, shiny objects. We love those things. Things that look appealing to our eyes, and we latch on to it, and we worship it. He also made temples on high places and appointed priests from among all the people who were not of the Levites. So he now is setting up his own order. Because when you are setting up false worship, when you are not in true worship, you are not going to go according to the commandments of the Most High. Because if you go according to his commandments, you will have to go according to his true order. So in order to go against his order, you have to set up alternative modes of worship, alternative traditions. That is why you know the children of Yasharal by their traditions. That is why Christianity says the law is done away with. Why do you think? Because if they were to obey the law of the Most High, they cannot do the foolishness that they do in their religion. It is the commands from the Most High that makes the difference between true worship and false worship. Okay? For example, if the children of Israel were obeying the commandments, they would remember, don't make any idol. I think we're going to look at that. Anything, the likeness of anything in heaven above or in the earth beneath. They would remember that. And they would say, no, we cannot worship that. That would be breaking the commandment. But if you rubbish the commandment and throw it away, then you can get an image of JC and put it on the wall, and you're worshiping and thinking that, yes, everything is okay. You can get an image of JC and you etch it into the windows. I remember when I was at the Methodist church. Yes? The windows were stained glass. I don't know if you could really afford those glass today. Intricately made designs with the picture of a white Jesus and some sheep on it. Yes? That's what they do. They have that image. So throw away the commandments, you can do that. But if you have the commandments, then your conscience would kill you and say, no, that is idolatry. All right? All right. And Jeroboam appointed a feast on the 15th day of the 8th month, like the feast that was in Judah, the 15th day of the 8th month. Now, the feast, which is Feast of Tabernacles, is the 15th day of the 7th month. So he sets up his own order. People, I want to see the correlation with this and Christianity. Because you will hear us speak about Christianity every single day. It is because it has most of our people trapped in there. False religion, yes? And it's not that we're mocking them, laughing at them. We want to point out the errors so our people can know them. So he appointed a feast day on his own day. So guess what? This is the same thing that Christianity does. They have their own feasts. No matter how you tell them, oh, Christmas is not a feast of the Most High. The Messiah was not born on Christmas. Christmas is a feast of Saturnalia. Christmas is paganism. They don't want to hear it. Easter, man, they love their Ishtar, the feast of Ishtar. You tell them all of those things, they reject it and rebel against it because they want their own feast. When you're worshiping in the flesh, you are going to want your own feast. You can't worship in the flesh and worship Yahuwah with Yahuwah's feast. Well, yes, you can, because we have people today who are keeping Passover. Passover has become a farce. And you know that I understand why the Most High has allowed it to be like this. Passover has become a farce. I remember a few years ago, an Hebrew Israelite group had Passover in a nightclub with strippers and all of those things dancing. Yeah? Hey. And then when it was found out and the pictures started going around, the videos, they started defending it. I remember last Passover. Was it the last one? The last Northern Hemisphere Passover. Because Passover is not in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay? That's why it's a farce. Because it's false. It's on the wrong time. You had this man from IUIC, Bishop Nathaniel, riding through. Internet connection unstable. Let me get this thing up. Yeah. Riding through on a horse as he's imitating Yahusha coming into Jerusalem on a colt. Yeah? Exalting himself. Yes? Passover is a joke. I see people doing Passover and they have their dogs on a leash and they have their dogs dressed up. And when you see them in their regalia, man, expensive. It's just all about a show. But anyway, let's go back to it. And he offered sacrifices on the altar, 1 Kings 12:32. So he did in Bethel, sacrificing to the calves that he made. So sacrificing to the calves that he made, to him, he's saying, this is Yahuwah. And he placed in Bethel the priests of the high places that he had made. He went up to the altar that he made in Bethel on the 15th day, in the 8th month, in the month that he had devised from his own heart. No. This comes from religion. Religion divides its time after its own heart. They do what they want to do, not what the Most High wants them to do. I remember there was a meme that was going around the other day, and it said, Christianity keeps every feast, every holiday except the ones in the Bible. This is the same thing here that Jeroboam did. Nothing different. So Christianity is golden calf worship. I'm telling you. And he instituted a feast for the people of Yasharal and went up to the altar to make offerings. So we're going to show that these elders, they worship these idols, but yet still they had regard for Yahuwah. Inquiring of Yahuwah. What a presumptuous people. Look at these people now in Ezekiel. I see what happened. It's Ezekiel 14, 1-4. Oh, I use the same. Oh, no, I got it. I got what happened. Let me set up this, please. Bear with me. It should only take a few. Ezekiel 14, 1-11, it should be. Okay. Get it? And let me put it down here. All right, sorry about the time, but all right. Ezekiel 14, 1-4. Let's get there. Ezekiel 14, 1-4. All right. Then certain of the elders of Yasharal came to me and sat before me. And the word of Yahuwah came to me, Son of man, these men have taken their idols into their hearts. Let me get it in the King James Version. Sorry. These men have set up their idols in their heart and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them? So what we have here, we are proving the name of Yahuwah indirectly here. That's what we're doing in this process with false worship. They have set up their idols in their hearts. So they are worshiping Yahuwah, but their hearts are focused on a tangible thing that they see on the golden calves or any other idols that they have. Yes? And put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. So the stumbling block of their iniquity is their idol that they look upon. And when they look upon this, then it is going to be a stumbling block. When you are worshiping in the flesh, you are sure to commit iniquity, because it is going to stir up your flesh with its desires and its lusts, and you are sure to sin. So when you put your stumbling block of idols before you, it's going to be stumbling block of your iniquity. Should I be inquired of at all by them? So they are doing this, but yet still they are coming to inquire of Yahuwah. This is what I'm telling you, that this is what they did. They worship the golden calves, but to them, they are worshiping Yahuwah. But let's see what Yahuwah says. Therefore, speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, or Yahuwah Aluah, every man of the house of Yasharal, that setteth up his idols in his heart, and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to the prophet, I, Yahuwah, will answer him that cometh according to the multitude of his idols. So when you come before the Most High, say you're worshiping the Most High, yes? And you come with your JC and your whatever idols in your heart. The Most High says, I will answer him according to the multitude of his idols, that I may take the house of Yasharal in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. So they are worshiping idols, but yet still they are having regard to Yahuwah. It's like opportunism. Opportunism. I want to worship these idols, yeah, but I also want the benefit from Yahuwah. So that is why you have some people who are in religion, in Christianity, they will say, oh, yeah, I worship Yahweh, because they can't seem to pronounce, you know, the name Yahuwah. The Christians, it's very, very rare you hear Christians calling the name Yahuwah. It's either Jehovah or Yahweh. Both are false names, by the way. But they just cannot call the set apart name. Yeah? But still they are inquiring of the Most High. They're thinking about the Most High, even though they have the stumbling block of their iniquity. For every one of the house of Yasharal, or of the stranger that sojourneth in Yasharal, which separateth himself from me, and set up his idols in his heart, and put the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and cometh to a prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, Yahuwah, will answer him by myself. So they are presumptuous. Coming to the prophets now, who are spiritual, who are in true worship, coming in their false idolatrous worship, and still want answer from the Most High. What will the Most High do? And I will set my face against that man, and will make him a sign and a proverb, and I will cut him off from the midst of my people, and he shall know that I am Yahuwah. And if the prophet be deceived when he hath spoken a thing, I, Yahuwah, have deceived that prophet. So they will even be going to the prophets, and the prophets will be telling them things false. The Most High will deceive the prophets so that they be deceived to get something false. And I will stretch out my hand upon him, and I will destroy him from the midst of my people, Yasharal. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity, The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. So the prophet must know that if these people are in false worship, listen to me very carefully. You have to know when people are in false worship. If people are in false worship and they come to you about Yahuah, you have to set them in place and say, no, go seek Yahuah, go this, go that. You cannot take what they have and go inquire of Yahuah. And go inquire of Yahuah. Something just came to mind. They have to seek for themselves. They have to repent. They have to turn and change from their idolatrous ways, reject idolatry. You cannot be seeking Yahuah for them because Yahuah says, yeah, what Yahuah says, he will do to you. Let me get it. And they shall bear the punishment of their iniquity. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeketh unto him. Hey. So when a Christian comes to you and speaking things, you have to try to get him out of that Christianity. You cannot say to him, okay, I will inquire of Yahuah. I will pray for you. I will go and find out for you. Hey. I hope you're seeing this. That the house of Yasharal may go no more astray from me. No more astray. So they were astray, worshipping their idols, including the golden calves. Neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their Aluah, says Yahuah, Elohim. All right. So that was the golden calf worship. So let's look at the carnal, the natural vain worship versus true worship, which is spiritual worship. Let's look at it. John 4:7. There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Yahusha saith unto her, give me to drink. Where is the woman coming from? Samaria. Samaria was in where? The northern kingdom of Israel, Yasharal. By the time of Messiah, the northern kingdom had been sent away into captivity in Assyria, but there were still some of them remaining in the land. Okay? For his disciples were gone away unto the city to buy meat. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, asketh drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. The Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Why did the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans? Wow, can we do this? This is really, really very long. Yeah. 2 Kings 17, I'll do a part of it. 2 Kings 17, verse 1. But all of it is so compelling. Why the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritan? You see, when we do the teachings, we have to have knowledge on top of knowledge. The more you get to understand, the easier it is for you to understand. Okay? So, though we can just say the Jews had no dealing with Samaritans, if you leave it alone, you will not know. So when something else comes up and it says, why did the Jews not? You will not understand. So let's go 2 Kings 17, verses 1 to 41. But we're not going to go all of it. I don't think I can manage to do all of it today with all that I have left to do. All right. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Yehudah, began Hoshea, the son of Elah, to reign in Samaria over Yasharal 9 years. And like all the kings of the northern kingdom, and he did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuah, but not as the kings of Yasharal that were before him. Oh, it's not so bad. What's his name? Hoshea. Oh, Hoshea. Finally, we have something not so bad from the northern kingdom. Against him came up Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers to So, king of Mitzrayim, and brought no present to the king of Assyria as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up and bound him in prison. You see, these are the things that happened to the northern kingdom. A whole lot of bad things happened to them because they were not walking in righteousness before the Most High. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land and went up to Samaria and besieged it 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Yasharal away into Assyria and placed them in Chala and in Chabor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. For so it was that the children of Yasharal had sinned against Yahuah their Elohim, which had brought them up out of the land of Mitzrayim, from under the land of Pharaoh, king of Mitzrayim, and had feared other mighty ones, other Elohim. So again we see it is one Yahuah who brought them out of Mitzrayim, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom Yahuah cast out from before the children of Yasharal, and of the kings of Yasharal which they had made. Now look at this verse here, now very important. And the children of Yasharal did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuah their Elohim. This is what I tell you. They were worshipping Yahuah, but they were worshipping him in false worship, in which they needed added implements, added gods, tangible gods. So secretly they hid and worshipped these gods, saying that they were worshipping Yahuah. Verse 9 again. And the children of Yasharal did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuah their Elohim. Eh? And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burned. And this reminds me of here in South Africa. Let me tell you something. There's no different. Nobody can tell me that these are not the people here in this land. When I read the Bible, I just see South Africa in it. You see, like what it says, under every grove and in the groves, under every green tree on every hills. Man, it's the same way they worship their ancestors here. Everywhere you go. You see, if we're here and we're looking to do a baptism, man, we have to be driving for hours to find a place where we can have running water without candles by the shore. They put candles in the water, they put candles by the shore. Everywhere, candles, burning candles to their gods. And yet still you can't tell them that this is not Yahuah. This is what I'm telling you, it's nothing different. When I'm talking from experience. Here, they tell you they're worshiping Modimo. Modimo to them is means the Most High. But how do they worship the Most High? They worship him praying to their ancestors. They worship him burning candles and doing all sorts of things. This is the same thing that the children of Israel did. So it's not that Yahuah is not his name, but that they polluted the worship of Yahuah with the worship of these false gods. Yeah? All right, where were we? And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahuah carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahuah to anger. For they served idols, whereof Yahuah had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet Yahuah testified against Yasharal, and against Yahudah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes. If you're keeping his commandments and his statutes, for example, the people here in South Africa, if they were keeping Yahuwah's commandments and his statutes, Then, let me show you something. Leviticus 20, I think, verse 6. And the soul that turneth after such as have familiar spirits and after wizards, to go a whoring after them, I will even set my face against that soul, and will cut him off from among his people. Okay? And there's another one again. Leviticus 20, verse 27. A man also or woman that hath a familiar ruach, that is a wizard, shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones, their blood shall be upon them. If they were keeping Yahuwah's commandments, they would have seen this, and they would have known that they cannot worship with those candle things and be in right standing. Okay? Where was I? And keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, and which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding they would not hear, but hardened their necks, like to the neck of their fathers, that did not believe in Yahuwah their Elohim. And they rejected his statutes, and his covenant that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. And they followed vanity, and became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom Yahuwah had charged them that they should not do like them. This is what our people have done all over Christianity, here in their ancestral worship, going after the ways of the heathen. And they left all the commandments of Yahuwah their Elohim, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal or Baal. Well, we're going to show you that the worship of Baal is different from the worship of the Most High. The worship of Baal is different from the worship of the Most High. Here in the scriptures, we're going to show you, because they are saying, oh, Yahuwah is Baal, the worship of Yahuwah, the name of Yahuwah is Baal. Okay? They worship the 2 calves. They made a grove. Look at this very carefully. Number 1, first thing they did, they left the commandments. 1, they made them molten images, even 2 calves. 2, they made a grove. 3, they worshiped all the hosts of heaven. 4, and served Baal. 5, the Baal is different from the host of heaven, and it's different from the 2 golden calves. And the grove is their place of worship. Just want to emphasize this, and we're going to show it. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of Yahuwah, to provoke him to anger. Therefore Yahuwah was very angry with Yasharal, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Yehudah only. Also Yehudah kept not the commandments of Yahuwah, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. So our people also in Judah also went after these idols. They still worshipped Yahuwah, but they went after their idols. And Yahuwah rejected all the seed of Yasharal, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Yasharal from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king, and Jeroboam drave Israel from following Yahuwah, and made them sin a great sin. So they did not follow Yahuwah, because they were worshipping the golden calves as Yahuwah. Yes? So they did not truly follow. You cannot follow Yahuwah if you are worshipping in the flesh. Remember Yahusha said, the Father seeketh such to worship him. Yahuwah is a ruach, and they that worship him must worship him in ruach and amat. So our fleshly worship is not the worship of Yahuwah. We might think we are worshiping Yahuwah, but to him it is not. For the children of Yashral walked in all the sins of Jeroboam which he did, they departed not from them, until Yahuwah removed Yashral out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants the prophets, so was Yasharal carried away out of their own land to Assyria unto this day. Now what happened after the northern kingdom, house of Yasharal, were sent into captivity? Assyria resettled Samaria with some false people, some people from some other nations, and they mixed in with the people who were there. So the Samaritans are mixed-blooded people with all sorts of people, but they also worshipped these idols. And we're going to see in the conversation with Yahuah and the woman that the woman thought that she was actually worshiping Yahuah, even though they were worshiping Yahuah in the mountains, on the high hills, and worshiping him in false worship. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, and from Cuthah, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria instead of the children of Yasharal. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof. So, the people of Judah, there are two ways here that they are at enmity with the people of Samaria. They had constant wars. They had become so estranged against the northern house of Israel. They were enemies of the house of Israel. It was as if they were not brothers anymore. They were like strangers, warring and killing one another. Then they were sent away. Then they came in with these foreigners. Then these foreigners were idolaters. That was why Judah could not, these people were heathen to them. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there that they feared not Yahuah. Therefore Yahuah sent lions among them, which slew some of them. So Yahuah sent lions. Why did he send lions? Because you're in my land. You're in my land and you don't fear me? No. Some of them were slain. Yeah, slain. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the Elohim of the land. Therefore, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah. The manner of people of the Elohim of the land. Therefore he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the Yahuah of the land. Then the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let him teach the manner of the Yahuah of the land. So when they're in the land, you have to know the manner of Yahuah. Then one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear Yahuah. Howbeit, every nation made Elohim of their own, and put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, every nation in their cities wherein they dwelt. And the men of Babylon made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Nergal, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and the Avites made Nebath and Tartak, and the Sepharvites burnt their children in fire to Adrammelech and Anamelech, the Elohim of Sepharvaim. So they feared Yahuah, and made unto themselves of the lowest of them priests of the high places, which sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared Yahuah, and served their own Elohim. This is the principle we're talking about, false worship people. If you're not a true worshiper, you are going to fear Yahuah, yes, but you're going to serve your own Elohim. Your own. You're not going to be able to worship the true mighty one of Yasharal. They feared Yahuah and served their own Elohim, after the manner of the nations whom they carried away from thence. Unto this day they do after the former manners. They feared not Yahuah. neither do they after their statutes, or after their ordinances, or after the law and commandments which Yahuah commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Yasharal. So you see another thing with the Samaritans, why the Jews did not like them. They didn't keep the commandments. Yes? They offered lip service unto Yahuah. Yeah, they are worshiping Yahuah. But, and this is why in Matthew 5 he says, these people worship me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Verse 35. With whom Yahuah had made a covenant and charged them, saying, Ye shall not fear other Elohim, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. But Yahuah, who brought you up out of the land of Mitzrayim with great power and a stretched out arm, him shall ye fear, and him shall ye worship, and to him shall ye sacrifice. And the statutes, and the ordinances, and the law, and the commandments which he wrote for you, ye shall observe to do forevermore, and ye shall not fear other Elohim. This is the opposite of what they did. And the covenant that I have made with you ye shall not forget, neither shall ye fear other Elohim. But Yahuah your Elohim ye shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of your enemies. Howbeit they did not hearken, but they did after their former manner. So these nations feared Yahuah, and served their graven images, both their children and their children's children, as did their fathers, so do they unto this day. This is it, people. The worship of the golden calf is not always the worship of another idol in the name of another idol. It's the worship of Yahuah while worshiping the idol. All right, so we were speaking about the living water. Let's look at living water for eternal life. John 4:10 to 14. Only hope you're keeping up with me. What we're trying to do, we're trying to show false worship, and then we're going to move into true worship. We're going to show all the different things that come with false worship. We're going to look into true worship. Living water for eternal life, John 4:10 to 14. The book of John 4:10. Yahushua answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of Elohim, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. Remember, we looked earlier at water being used to refer to the ruach. Okay? The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Of course, Yahushua was referring to the ruach HaKadosh. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? Our father Jacob? So this woman, this Samaritan woman, was a true Israelite, a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, one of those who were in the northern kingdom. Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle? Yahushua answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. But whosoever shall drink of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into eternal life. Into eternal life. So we have to emphasize that this woman was an Israelite, because there are some people who are teaching that she was not an Israelite. Of course, this is to get their doctrine in place. This woman was an Israelite. All right? So we just saw the living water springing up into eternal life. Now, sin is a barrier to receiving this living water. Now, if you are offering worship that is not true, we said it will be coming from the flesh. And we said that it will be bringing forth sin. Sin is a barrier to receiving living water. John 4:15 to 18. The woman said unto him, Sir, Give me this water, that I thirst not, neither come hither to draw. Yahushua saith unto her, Go call thy husband and come hither. The woman answered and said, I have no husband. Yahushua said unto her, Thou hast well said, I have no husband. For thou hast had 5 husbands, and he whom thou now hast is not thy husband. In that saidst thou truly. So this is the fleshly worship of the woman, bringing forth sin. Yeah? No obedience to the commandments, etc. She's going to sin. All right, so let's continue here. Let's go. And we're going to go back and look again at the secret worship of the ancient Israelites as we continue to look in false worship. John 4:19-20. The woman said unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in the mountain, this mountain. And ye say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship. She was of the northern kingdom. They worshipped in the mountain, upon every high hill. Yes? They worshipped they worshipped their golden calves and different idols. Okay? And ye say that in Jerusalem is a place where men ought to worship. So to her, they are worshiping Yahuah. Yeah? But the Messiah is telling her that the worship is in Jerusalem. Why is the worship in Jerusalem? Because when there is worship in Jerusalem, it is controlled, it's under the order of the Most High. The worship in the high places, every man comes and does his own thing. The Most High sets up a priesthood, he sets up an order. Or if you sin, this is the offering that you give. 5 turtle doves, this and that, that and that. So it is orderly under the control and directives of the Most High. But their worship is them doing whatever they want to do. That is why Jeroboam set up priests of the people that were not of the priesthood, so that anyone could do whatever they want to do. 2 Kings 17:9-12. Did I look at that? 2 Kings 17:9-12. I think I probably looked at that. All right, for those on the Zoom, if you have any questions or whatever. Yeah, I looked at that. Or the children of Yashua did secretly those things that were not right against Yahuah, their Elohim. And they built them high places in all their cities, from the tower of the watchmen to the fenced city. And they set them up images and groves in every high hill and under every tree. And there they burnt incense in the high places, as did the heathen whom Yahuah carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke Yahuah to anger. This was the worship that this Samaritan woman had. So, it's the same thing. This woman really does believe that this is sincere worship. Because, here's the question. Can you tell Christians today that they are serving idols? You can't tell them that they are serving idols. They will laugh at you. They will rubbish you. I serve the living God. Yeah. They're not going to accept it. But Jesus Christ is an idol. The idol Jesus Christos. God is an idol who is fortune or luck or chance, the God of luck. The Lord is Baal. The Lord God is Baal God. They keep their pagan feast days. They do everything. Their religion is actually sun worship. They do everything, but you cannot tell them this. It's the same thing with the woman. She innocently, genuinely feels that their worship is good. Our fathers worshipped in these mountains, but you're saying Jerusalem. Eh? So when you are in false worship, you are going to be deceived thinking it is genuinely true worship. You are not going to know that this is false. So that is why today it is so hard to usher someone out of Christianity, to get them to wake up. I have seen our Hebrew Israelite brothers battling Christianity. Every day almost comes up with some debate or some on the streets telling Christians that this is false, that is false. The Christians come back with a vengeance, never giving up on debates, even though they don't know anything, most of them. They're still coming to the debates, still trying, still fighting to prove. Because, as we would say in Jamaica, kill them dead. Yes. They swear that they are right. It's the same thing with this woman. Okay? So, I think I might just have to wrap up this teaching in two, because probably 3. There's more to it. Yeah. So, we kind of want to get this thing about the golden calf. We kind of want to get this thing about the golden calf to actually truly bring it out, because it has so much implications. So, worshiping Yahuwah as a golden calf. Let's go to 2 Kings 9, verses 1 to 10. I find, though, that when you're doing teachings and you go to the Kings, you end up having to go there more than once, several times. I don't know what the Kings phenomena. I notice if you go to Kings, then you just have to keep going back to Kings. 2 Kings 9, verses 1 to 10. And Elisha the prophet called one of the children of the prophets and said unto him, Gird up thy loins, and take this box of oil in thine hand, and go to Ramoth Gilead. And when thou comest thither, look out there Yahu, or Jehu as they had it, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in and make him arise up from among his brethren, and carry him to an inner chamber. Then take the box of oil and pour it on his head, and say, Thus saith Yahuwah, I have anointed thee king over Yasharal. Then open the door and flee and tarry not. So let me tell you something here. This Yahu, or Jehu, this is a man who worshipped the golden calf. And he's being anointed by Yahuwah. Yes? He worshipped the golden calf, but he worshipped Yahuwah. We have to get this very clear. We have a PDF called The Name, or What is the True Name of Yahuwah, on our downloads page on justaword.org. Yeah, you can download it. And we have I think we're going to put forward a playlist with the name of Yahuwah to, put them all together. The name, the name, the name. The name of Yahuwah shall be praised. Because the Ahaya Asher Ahaya, I am that I am, that is a title of the Most High. And it is Ahaya, I am, Ashar, that, Ahaya, I am. So when you say Ahaya, you are saying, let me get my thing here. When you say Ahaya, you are saying I am. Okay? Now, the word Haya is the root word. Let me go. How can I do it now? All right, let me go and show you the root word Haya. I didn't even plan to do this, but let me do it. The Lord. Where is the Lord? The Lord. All right. H3068. H3068. They have it as Jehovah, of course. It's Yahuwah. Yahuwah. That's the proper pronunciation. There was no V. There was no O. There was no E. There was no W. Yahuwah. All right? Yahuwah. So it comes from H1961. H1961. Let me get it. Let me go on the blue letter Bible. It's very important that we do this. Like all we are doing. Let me get back up web pages. Let me go here. I never planned to get here, but I am here. Let me do it. All right. What did I say? Oh, blue letter Bible. Blue letter Bible. And we're looking for, what verse was it again? 2 Kings 9 verse 1. 2 Kings 9 1. All right. Yeah, the Lord. Anyway, the Lord. All right. It's right here in verse 3. Let me see if you can see it. Oh, you can't see it. All right. All right. So I'll have to blow it up a little so you can see it. All right. So, what verse are we? Yeah, so verse 3. Let me make it a little bigger. All right, verse 3. Let me go to verse 3. Yeah. Let me go to tools. Oh, what is it? Yeah. All right, so let me go to the law, the L-O-R-D. The L-O-R-D does say the L-O-R-D. Here it is. H3068. So let's go and see what the H3068 means. H3068, Yahuah. It comes from H1961. So Yahuah means the existing one. The existing one, which means he is. He exists. But it comes from H1961. And look at this. It's Haya, which means to be, come to pass, to exist. That is the root of Yahuah. So Yahuah comes from the same Ahaya. It comes from the same Ahaya. But Ahaya means I am. And Yahuah means he is. So when you're saying Ahaya, you are actually saying I am. You are actually exalting yourself, saying I am. But when we say Yahuah, we are saying he is. Anyway, let me continue. Only hope someone is interested in the name to get clarity on the name. All right. So let's go back here. All right. Verse 4. So the young man, even the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead. And when he came, behold, the captains of the hosts were sitting. And he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Yahuah said, unto which of all us? And he said, to thee, O captain. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus saith Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal, I have anointed thee king over the people of Yahuah, even over Yasharal. These are the people who are worshipping golden calves. And Yahuah is calling them the people of Yahuah. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab thy master, that I may avenge the blood of thy servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of Yahuwah at the hand of Jezebel. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish. And I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Yasharal. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha the son of Ahiah. And the dogs shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled. So Yahuwah anointing Jehu, the same Jehu who worshipped the golden calf. Now, after killing Joram, Ahaziah, the 70 sons of Ahab, Jehu also dealt with the priests of Baal. And we're going to look what he did. He did it in the name of Yahuwah. What we are showing here, Jehu still worshipped the golden calves, but he went out to destroy Baal out of the land. Now, if the golden calves, the worship of the golden calves was the worship of Baal, how could he destroy Baal out of the land? Eh? We're going to see 2 Kings 10 from verse 15 to 32. It looks like this teaching will have to be cut into maybe 2 or 3. We haven't even reached to the true worship as yet. We are in false worship. Let's just do false worship today. 2 Kings 10, 15 to 32. 2 Kings 10, 15 to 32. Oh, this is Yahu, right? Jehu. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonabab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up to him into the chariot. And he said, Come with me and see my zeal for Yahuwah. My zeal for who? My zeal for Yahuwah. Jehu worshipped the golden calf, as we are going to see. He did not walk away from the sin of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, in regards to the golden calf. But he still had zeal for Yahuwah. The golden calf that he worshipped the golden calf as Yahuwah, not as Baal. Verse 17. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of Yahuwah, which he spake to Eliyahu. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. So Jehu came with a little trick here. He's going to act as if he served Baal, in order to get all the priests of Baal together so that he could kill them. So he got them together to offer sacrifices. All right? And it came to pass, verse 25, and it came to pass as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captains, Go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword, and the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal, and burned them. And they brake down the image of Baal, and brake down the house of Baal, and made it a draught house unto this day, place where they went to urinate until this day. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Now, to show you that the worship of the golden calves is not the worship of Baal. He continued to worship the golden calves because he said he was zealous for Yahuwah. So he was worshiping the golden calves as Yahuwah. So anything you see from artifacts of old where the kings of Israel were worshiping Yahuwah, yet still they were worshiping the golden calves, you know that they were worshiping the golden calves as Yahuwah. Simple. No, sorry, the other way around. They were worshiping Yahuwah as a golden calf. You can twist it anyway, the same thing. Howbeit, Let me read from verse 28. Thus Yahuah destroyed Baal out of Israel. Howbeit, from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Yasharal to sin, Yahuah departed not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. He continued to worship the golden calves because that to him was not the worship of Baal. It was the worship of Yahuah. And Yahuah still spoke to Yahuah. And Yahuah said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in my heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Yasharal. Now hear this. But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. He continued in the worship of the golden calf. And as long as you are in false worship, you cannot keep the commandments of Yahuah. Why do you think the Christians fight tooth and nail for us not to regard the commandments? Oh, the commandments done away with. Oh, we can't keep the commandments. Oh, we are all sinners. Oh, if you break one, you break them all. Oh, so are you sacrificing if you talk about the commandments? So that means you're sacrificing then, and you are this, and they go and find some commandments that you are not able to actually do today. You know, like what the priesthood would do, and ask you, so are you doing this? To negate our responsibility to keep the commandments. As long as you are in false worship, you cannot keep the commandments. Let me read 31 again. But Yahuah took no heed to walk in the law of Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. As long as you are in idolatrous worship, you cannot keep the commandments of Yahuah, and Yahuah is going to afflict you. Verse 32, in those days Yahuah began to cut Yasharal short, and Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Yasharal, and he continued as to how far he smote them. Only hope you're getting something out of this, people. Let's look also now at the reign of Omri. The reign of Omri. Omri was the king in the days of the Moabite stone. The reign of Omri, 2 Kings 16, 23 to 33. I tell you, when you're in the Kings, it seems like you cannot come out. Something just keeps you there. 16, 22, what did I say? 23 to 33. Omri. No, what am I doing here? This is wrong. 1 Kings, not 2nd. 16. 23. False worship, people. 1 Kings 16, 23. In the 31st year of Asa, king of Yehudah, began Omri to reign over Yasharal 12 years. 6 years reigned he in Tirzah. And he bought the hill Samaria of Shemer for 2 talents of silver, and built on the hill, and called the name of the city which he built after the name of Shemer, owner of the hill. But Omri wrought evil in the eyes of Yahuah, and did worse than all that were before him. For he walked in all the way of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, and in his sin wherewith he made Israel to sin, to provoke Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal to anger with their vanities. Now the rest of the acts of Omri which he did, and his might that he showed, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Yasharal? So Omri slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, and Ahab his son reigned in his stead. And in the 38th year of Asa king of Yehudah began Ahab the son of Omri to reign over Yasharal. And Ahab, the son of Omri, reigned over Israel in Samaria 22 years. And Ahab, the son of Omri, did evil in the sight of Yahuah above all that were before him. And it came to pass, as if it had been a light thing for him to walk in the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, which is to worship the golden calf and worship Yahuah as the golden calf. He did something additional, and let's see that he took to wife Jezebel, the daughter of Ethbaal, king of the Zidonians, and went and served Baal and worshipped him. So the worship of Baal was in addition to the golden calf. The worship of Baal is different from the worship of the golden calf. Verse 32, and he reared up an altar for Baal in the house of Baal, which he had built in Samaria. So the golden calves were in Bethel and Dan, but this Ahab, Jezebel's husband, set up the whole temple, his own temple for Baal in Samaria. And Ahab made a grove, and Ahab did more to provoke Yahuah Elohim of Yasharal to anger than all the kings of Yasharal that were before him. I only hope you're getting it, people. I only hope you're getting it. Okay? So the question is, right now, why did the Most High tolerate this false worship? That's a question we need to answer. Why did the Most High tolerate this false worship? Well, it's very simple. Everything that the Most High tolerates is because of three men. 2 Kings 13:22. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Yasharal all the days of Jehoahaz. And Yahuah was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. That is why he forbore with Yasharal. That is why Israel could go into all sorts of sin, and the Most High would tolerate it. It's these three men, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And this is why today the Most High tolerates us with our people in the abominations in the different religions that we are in. He does not afflict us because of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, not for our sakes, but because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? So, still, some of the Samaritans still worship the Father, albeit through false worship. They still worship Yahuah through false worship. John 4:21. Yahusha saith unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh, when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Worship the Father. You see it? Worship the Father. Neither in this mountain worship the Father. What is that saying? The Samaritans were worshiping the Father. Under their false worship, worshiping their idols, they were using the name of Yahuah for their idols. So nobody can come and tell me again and think, oh, who is an idol? Nobody should be able to tell you. You must be able to get this understanding now. Believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem. Not that yet there means, and even if you should come to Jerusalem, you shall not worship him there in those places. Why? John 4:22. John 4:22. Only hope you're staying with me. Only hope you are understanding. Let me go and see before. John 4:22, I said, let me go and see if there are any questions. There's no question in the Zoom. Oh yes, idols are now called statues or art pieces. or sculptures. Yeah, those things. All right. Let me go and see if there is any on YouTube. Man, I have so many places, things open here. Oh. Let me go in the chat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Uh-huh. All right. I think when I'm done, I'll run through the chat. Yeah. When I'm done, I'll go through the chat and we shall see. All right, so let's resume. John 4:22. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Salvation is of the Jews. And I think we want to find out why salvation is of the Jews, don't we? All right. So let's go to Numbers 2, verse 9. Why is salvation of the Jews? Why the Jews? What did I say? 2:9? Numbers 2, verse 9. And all that were numbered, these are when the 12 tribes went out. And all that were, let me get some water. All that were numbered in the camp of Judah were 100,000 and fourscore thousand and 6,400 throughout their armies. These shall first set forth. Judah shall go first. Anytime the children of Yasharal are moving, Judah, which means praise, goes first. And this is telling you something. You praise, then you go to war. You praise, then you get results. Praise God. Salvation is of the Jews. Yahuah also shall save the tents of Judah first. Salvation is of the Yahudim. That the splendor of the house of David and the splendor of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Judah. Judah is first. Isaiah 26, verses 1 to 2. Judah shall go first. Isaiah 26, verses 1 to 2. In that day shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will Yahuah appoint for walls and bulwarks. Open ye thy gates, that the righteous nation which keepeth the truth may enter in. The righteous nation, Judah, that keeps the truth, will enter in. Judah goes first. Salvation is of the Yahudim. The other nations have to wait on Judah for their salvation. That is why Judah has to return to the land. All right? And wake up the other nations. The other people of the nations in the land. Judah has to be waking up the world. Yeah? So the bottom line. The Father is only seeking those who truly connect with his ruach. We said it earlier. The Father is only seeking those who truly connect with his ruach. Worshipping in the flesh, as we said before, you cannot connect to the Most High. It's like AC current and DC current. Yeah? The Father is AC current, and you're trying to access him through DC current. It can't work. It will not form a complete circuit. The circuit will not work. Yes? AC for AC, DC for DC. DC for the fleshy people, AC for those who are in the ruach. Yeah? John 4:23, but the hour cometh and now is when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in ruach and in truth, for the Father seeketh such to worship him. Yahuah is a ruach, and they that worship him must worship him in ruach and in truth. So, when you are in the flesh, who works in the flesh? Hasatan. Hasatan's realm is in the flesh. Because lusts, desires, cravings, covetousness, all the works of the flesh takes place here. That's why Shaul called it the works of the flesh. Let's go there. Galatians 5 verse 19. This is why he called it the works of the flesh. Because when you are in the flesh, these are the works that you will work. Let's look at them. I never even thought of this. Galatians 5 verse 19. Let's look at them. Now the works of the flesh are manifest. Manifest means obvious, easy to see. Which are these? Adultery. So when you're worshiping in the flesh, the people, whoa, I don't even go any further. I was watching something yesterday. Man, how the ruach connects. And I was watching a documentary, a kind of a documentary, mini documentary, about, pedophilia with those who say they are Jews and are not. In their, what they call it, Talmud, they have things about having intercourse with girls under 3 years old, and boys under 9, and all of those things. And sickening. But then the person pointed out that it's the same thing that happens in Catholicism. The same thing that happens in Islam. The same thing that happens in, what's the other one? Catholicism, Islam. In Christianity today, a lot of sexual sins. It might not be with these age groups or underage, but a lot of sexual sins take place. Every now and again you see a pastor having to apologize, and the assembly, we accept his apologies, boy, he's going through a rough time and he needs some time away from himself and everything because of sexual sins. Why? Because you're worshiping in the flesh. You're not worshiping in the ruach. That is why when they have, in Christianity, when they have church, what they quickly do in the church is to try to marry off the young people. Because they know if they don't marry off the young people, that something is going to be stirred up in them. They're going to be having sexual sins in the church. So as soon as somebody comes in, the first thing they want to do is to marry them to somebody there. Or to get somebody from outside and marry and bring them in. Sexual sins come from you when you are worshiping in the flesh. Let me turn on this light. Yeah, the light is not that well, but at least you can hear me. So let's look at the works of the flesh when you are worshiping in the flesh, when you are not in the ruach. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness. We could do this about religion of today. I just show all of the religions and show them up. You see, when you're striving for truth, as we are here at Just a Word, we started out with a group, biblical truth seekers. It's just truth we seek. And whatever the truth said we should do, we do. Yes? And it is just so overwhelming at times how much you're just going along, and then the truth that starts coming more and more through, springing up like a well of water. If you look at all the religions that we spoke about, yes? Some of these things are all in there. Adultery, fornication, uncleanness. lasciviousness, idolatry. That's what we're talking about today, isn't it? Witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. You know, that's why you can have no peace in an assembly when people are in the flesh. No peace. If you are gathered together with people and there are people there in the flesh, there will be no peace. Because all of these things, some of these things are going to come out. Look at this. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahuah. But when you now are walking in the ruach, when your worship is true worship, when your ruach is aligned with the ruach of the Father, then guess what? You will be walking in the fruit of the ruach. But the fruit of the ruach is love, joy, shalom, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, emunah or faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law, and they that are Mashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. This is it, people. The competition between those who are walking in the flesh and those who are walking in the ruach. So this connection between us and the Father, 1 Corinthians 2, 10 to 16. Let's see the connection. 1 Corinthians 2, 10 to 16. You see, what we are doing here at this phase at Just a Word, we are going into righteousness, so we get a deeper insight into righteousness. So we actually know how we can live. And we actually know the danger of doing this or not doing that. We know the truth, because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We are not going to be here, like many of the brothers here, speaking about who you are. Oh, we are Israelites and the kingdom is ours and this. No. We have to be speaking about things that will ensure that we inherit it. Because in 1 Peter 4, 17 to 18, it tells us that the righteous are scarcely saved. So we have to do what it takes for salvation. It's about salvation. I don't want to live my life, wasting my life, and then in the end I hear, depart from me, I never knew you. That would be the greatest tragedy of gargantuous proportions. There's such a word. Yeah? Humongous proportion. Is there such a word? For that to happen. Yeah? And I know you don't want that to happen. Let's continue. Verse 9. But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahuah hath prepared for them that love him. But Yahuah hath revealed them unto us by his ruach. There we go. That is why you have to have true worship and connect with the ruach Mashiach. And someone asked in the chat, someone asked in the chat if the Spirit, something like that. Let me see if I can answer your question. It is in the book of Corinthians, Romans 8, verse 9. But boy, look at this. I might as well finish the other one, because this is an extension of what I was just doing. You see, I just jumped here, and it's more than I was bargaining for. Let's get back, and then I'll get back there. But Yahuah hath revealed them unto us by his ruach, for the ruach searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of Yahuah. So this is why we have to have Ruach HaKadosh. Yes, we have to have the ruach that connects with the Father. We have to have a plug to plug in into the socket. Yes? To connect with the Father so things can flow from Him to us and from us to Him. Yeah? So He reveals things to us by His ruach. So if we don't have His ruach, if we are out there worshiping in the flesh, how can He reveal things to us? How? He can't, and He will not. So you have to be doing true worship to connect with the Most High. Because it goes on to ask, for what man knoweth the things of a man, save the ruach which is in him? Even so, the things of Yahuah knoweth no man but the ruach of Yahuah. So the ruach of Yahuah knows all things, and so when you connect to Him, He will just give it to you. That is why sometimes when you're seeking the Most High, you have to fast. Because let me say something about this dirty flesh here. Let me say something about the flesh. The connection between Let me say something about the inward man, because I might not even get to do it today. We are flesh and we are ruach, okay? The inward man is buried within us, overshadowed by this outer man. In order for us to bring out the inner man, this has to go, has to be destroyed. But we can't live without this. So we have to find a way to live with this having no power over this, over our soul. So that is why you have Matthew 16:24. If any man come after me, let him deny himself, deny this, and pick up his stake and follow me, and go through the troubles and the trials and the tests and the pain and the pressure and the things we don't like. Go through it and follow after Yahushua while going through it. Because in so doing, with that process, this will not be in charge. And if this is not in charge, the inner man, the ruach in you, will come out. And when the ruach comes out, it can connect with the ruach of the Most High. And so the ruach of the Most High can lead us. Otherwise, with this leading, no connection. You will be doing things according to the desires of your heart, according to your own decision. That is why the verse says, trust in Yahuah with all your heart, and lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge Him. That's when you're in your ruach, in all your ways you acknowledge Him. You don't acknowledge this. So what this wants and this concerns this and everything, you push it behind. Because if you acknowledge Yahuah in everything, then you will be in the ruach connecting with Yahuah's ruach. You have to bring out the inward man and let the inward man rule this soul. Or else it will be the flesh that is ruling your soul, and the flesh ruling your soul is opportunity for the devil to bring you into sin. With the desires that this is going to bring. Anyway, come off that little rant sounding piece. All right. Yes. But I went ahead of myself. You know that I can finish it today? Yeah. So where are we now? But Yahuah hath revealed them unto us by His ruach, for the ruach searcheth all things, yea, the deep things of Yahuah. So the ruach connecting with Yahuah, searching the deep things of Yahuah, connecting with us, we get to understand and know the deep things of Yahuah. In the flesh, that is not so. For what man knoweth the things of a man, save the ruach of man which is in him? Even so, the things of Yahuah knoweth no man, but the ruach of Yahuah. So you cannot know the things of Yahuah unless through the ruach of Yahuah, which has to be connected to us through true worship. You have to have ruach hakadosh. You have to deny yourself. Look at this. Look at this verse. Look at this verse. The verse that we, in Jamaica, we say we bore up hole in it. We pierced many holes in it, which means we ran it over and over again until it was tired. The wind bloweth where it listeth, John 3:8. And thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the ruach. When you are born of the ruach, you would have denied yourself, and the Most High's ruach is able to take you wherever you want to go. So you are now able to know the secret things of Yahuah because you are there just going along, and the ruach of Yahuah is just bringing you where he wants to take you. Now we have received, 1 Corinthians 2 verse 12, now we have received not the ruach of the world, but the ruach which is of Yahuah, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Yahuah. So when we have denied ourselves, when we are worshiping in the ruach, we will receive the things of Yahuah through the connection through our ruach. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which Ruach HaKadosh teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. So the Ruach HaKadosh, will speak to us and teach us, and so we'll be able to compare spiritual things with spiritual, because we are not carnal, we are not in the flesh worshiping idols. We are worshiping the one true living invisible Yahuah. And we are worshiping him in ruach and in truth. So truth is aligned with his ruach. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the ruach of Yahuah. So this is the man now who is in the natural worship. The man who can only worship things that he can see and feel. And, some people. And this is where emunah comes in, where faith comes in. You believe in something that you cannot see. Yeah? Many people cannot do that. Many people, you know what our faith can carry us to? Our faith can carry us to our wants. Faith can be in the same false worship. Let me explain something here before I go ahead again. All right? Let me get it again. All right. We can be in false worship and have faith. A lot of times we want something physically, and we'll have the faith. I'm believing. You hear them say in Christianity, I'm believing for that car. We want something material, we believe. That is not the true faith. The true faith is the faith that has works. The true faith is the faith that comes through righteousness. You believe in the Most High, not for your greed, not for your gluttony, not for your lust and your lasciviousness or nothing. You believe in him for righteousness, for that which is right. Okay? So I can be in false religion because the prophets of Baal, they had faith. They had so much faith they were even cutting themselves at the time with Elijah, I think. Yeah? Anyway, let me go ahead. Yeah. So, Ruach HaKadosh will teach us. So the natural man will not receive the things of Yahuah, but he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. So when you have the connection with the Most High, you are able to judge everything. Why? The Ruach Yahuah is in you, and the Ruach Yahuah searches out the things of Yahuah, and in connection with you, you are able to get the understanding of the deep things of Yahuah by that connection through your true worship. For who hath known the mind of Yahuah, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of who? Hey, boy, I'm telling you, the word is so sweet when it comes together. We have the mind of a Mashiach. Why do we have the mind of a Mashiach? Because we have ruach hakadosh, which is the ruach hamashiach. Let's go to Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8. Where was it again? Dun, dun, dun. Verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the ruach, the things of the ruach. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So when we are carnally minded, when we are worshiping in the flesh, then that is what? Death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. So when you are worshiping in the ruach, yeah, not worshiping any idols or false worship or false religion or, taking the Most High's word and say, that doesn't mean such and such, that this and that, and twisting his words and everything. When you are not doing that, then you are spiritually minded and you will have life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against Yahuah, for it is not subject to the law of Yahuah, neither indeed can be. Look at that. What happened to Jehu? Jehu was carnal because he was worshipping the golden calf. And what did he tell you? That he could not keep his commandments. So his mind was enmity against Yahuah. That is why Yahuah was fighting tooth and nail for them to stop worshipping those idols. Hey. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahuah. So when you're worshipping in the flesh, you can't please Yahuah. So people, you have to make sure that your worship is worship in the ruach. It cannot be anything that's based on anything tangible on material things. You cannot be worshiping on the premise that you're going to get this and this is going to happen for you. A lot of believers do that. And when things don't happen, then everything falls out. When you're worshiping, and this we might have to do a part 2. When you're worshiping in the ruach, it is bruising. Let me get my face there again so you can probably hear a little better. Let me go again. Every time I keep running away from here. When you are worshiping in the ruach, it is bruising. Because the body of sin has to be destroyed. And so the Most High will bring you into situations where this body of sin is just depleting. That's why Shaul said, but though the outer man perishes, yet the inner man is being renewed day by day. This has to perish for the inner man to be renewed. So people who are true believers, if you read Shaul, he tells you in fastings, in what do you call it? In shipwrecks, in perils, in this and that. That's what true believers go through, because this has to be destroyed, and the Most High will help you. He will put you into situations, one by one, where you are afflicted in the body. I know the afflictions in the body to destroy this. So the ruach can be exalted above. It's not going to be a nice road. So all those people there thinking that, oh, it's going to be nice, and when something happens that is deemed not nice, then we get miserable. Eh? When we are in this and we see things not nice happening to us, and the Most High still has a connection with us, that means He put us through that in order to lift us up, in order to build us up. Because He knows that this has too much dominance over the soul. And what is the most interested in? The soul. Eh? The soul. That's why Yahuah said, flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I give you, they are spirit and they are life. Yeah? So this flesh will go through, and it will go through. If you're a true believer, your life, let me tell you, If you say you're a believer and your life is nice, comfy, cozy, nice, and everything, then I'm actually sorry for you. If you're a true believer, go and look in the scriptures and look what happened to the apostles and the disciples. Look at the different things that happened to them. You think their life was cozy? No, your life cannot be cozy. It cannot be nice. And so many people get frustrated and go into sin when things start to happen to them that they don't like. Well, we are here to tell you, rejoice in hope, patient in tribulation. Have to be patient. Many people get flustered when these things start happening to them. No patience whatsoever. Yes? So when things start happening to them, they get flustered and they might move into sin. You have to be patient. Let me continue. We're soon done, but we're stuck at a barrier here that it seems like I can't. All right. All right. So, yeah. So we were saying, we were speaking about the ruach, Mashiach. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please Yahuah. But ye are not in the flesh, but in the ruach, if so be that the ruach of Yahuah dwell in you. Now, if any man have not the ruach of Hamashiach, he is none of his. The ruach of Hamashiach. The ruach of Hamashiach. We have to have the same ruach as Hamashiach, which was ruach HaKadosh in him, as in us as it is in him. And if Hamashiach be in you how? In you through ruach HaKadosh. The body is dead because of sin, but the ruach is life because of righteousness. But if the ruach of him that raised up Yahushua from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up Yahushua from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his ruach that dwell in you. So this ruach HaKadosh is the ruach of the Father, which is the ruach of the Son. That's why the Son said that I in them and thou in me, that they may be all be made one in us. Yeah? That they be one in you as you are in us. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if I can finish this. So, as we were saying, how do we get these idols out of the way? How do we get false worship out of the way and connect to the Father through Yahushua? We have to deny the self. We said it earlier. We have to deny the self. The self is going to want to compel us and compel its way on to false worship, to what it is comfortable in its comfort zone. Yes? Going after the loss of life and all of those things. So we have to deny self. And if you look at the meaning of deny, from the Thea lexicon, it says to affirm that one has no acquaintance or connection with someone. It is to actually disown yourself. You have no connection with your own self. To forget oneself, lose sight of one's self and one's own interests. So even your interests are thrown away. Things that you desire, that you want to do, you have to throw those away. That is how you get out of false worship. When you do that, then you can worship in the ruach. Now let me tell you something. We cannot follow Yahushua if self is not denied. We're going to show a different angle. We've done it before from a different. Let's do it from a different angle and show you. You cannot follow Yahushua if self is not denied. Matthew 26, 34 to 41. Matthew 26, we are at what? 2 minutes, hours and 19. Okay. Matthew 26, 34 to 41. This was Peter. Yeah. Peter was in the flesh. He did not deny himself at this point. And look what happened to him. He could not follow Yahusha. Yahusha said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. Peter said unto him, Though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. So let me tell you something. If you have not denied yourself, you're going to have all good intentions. You're going to have big talk. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do that. But guess what? If you have not denied yourself, the self is going to come in and take charge over you, and all the plans that you made, all the things that you said you would do, you'll not be able to do them. So let's get an example of even when they were praying in Gethsemane. Then cometh Yahusha with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, Sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. Not even this they could obey. You cannot obey anything, instruction through the ruach, if you have not denied yourself. So you'll get instructions. Do this. Don't do that. Don't this. You'll not be able to do it. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then said he unto them, My soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So Mashiach was so sad, even unto death, and he told them. And because they had not denied themselves, they couldn't even help him. They couldn't even stay up with him. Yeah? They could not even stay up with him because they have not denied themselves. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. So you will see deny self coming up, and you might say, oh, all Kazakh talks about is denying self. This is the beginning. If you have not denied yourself, you are wasting your time here. Go and do something else. Go and have fun. Go out in the world. Because the word tells you, not me, the word tells me that you're not going anywhere. I am not going anywhere unless I've denied myself. You're only going to be in religion, in false worship, worshiping your idols, not in true worship. You have to deny yourself, or else you are wasting your time. Verse 40, And he cometh unto the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and said unto him, Peter, What, could you not watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The ruach indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So they could not even watch with him 1 hour because they had not denied themselves. Sleep was over them. And they could not deny the sleep. You know, sometimes you're awake in the wee hours and you might invite people. You invite other believers. Come, let's go pray at a certain hour. Man, good luck on getting people to consistently do these prayers. Yeah? Self. More interested on the sweetness of sleep rather than the sacrifice. But I beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of Yahuah, that you give your bodies living sacrifice, kadosh and acceptable unto Yahuah, which is your reasonable service. Present your bodies. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Verse 41. Watch and pray that you enter not into temptation. The ruach indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So we can be willing, but the flesh weak. So if we don't deny ourselves, the weak flesh is going to lead us. Let's go down to verse 69. Verse 69. Now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also was with Mashiach of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. You see, he had not denied himself. He was not willing to suffer. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him and said unto them that were there, This fellow was also with Yahushua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by and said to Kepha, Surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech bewrayeth thee. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew, and Peter remembered the word of Yahushua, which said unto him, Before the cock crew, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly. So he had all good intentions. We can have all good intentions. But if we don't deny ourselves, our flesh is going to be in charge and it is going to lead us into sin. And strangely enough, look at this very carefully. If we run away from suffering, we deny Hamashiach. Hamashiach said, if we deny him, he is going to deny us before the Father and before the angels. But if we run away from suffering, we deny him. Look into this. 2 Timothy 2 verse 12. If is a conditional word, right? If we suffer, if we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he also will deny us. So match up everything. If we suffer, we are going to reign with him. Why? Because if we suffer, we do not deny him. But if we are not willing to suffer, we will deny him. And if we deny him, then he will deny us. So it's not that the Most High is heartless or Messiah is heartless and brutal. They know how the flesh and the ruach operates, and that if you do not suffer in the flesh, that you are going to deny him. You cannot overcome sin. And why do we have to suffer? The connection between the inner man and the outer man. Let's do this and end it, please. Man, I'm trying to end it. Romans 7, 18 to 25. The connection between the inner man and the outer man. Romans 7, verse 18 to 25. For I know that in me, that is in my flesh, dwelleth no good thing. That's what I'm telling you. For to will is present with me, but how to perform that which is good I find not. So I am powerless in the flesh. The flesh is ruling me. I can't do that which I want to do because the flesh overpowers me. That is why we have to suffer. When we suffer in the flesh, then the flesh no longer rules and can no longer overpower us. For the good that I would, I do not, but the evil which I would not, that I do. Now if I do that I would not, it is no more I that do it, but sin that dwelleth in me. So sin dwells in us through the flesh, directing us into sin. So that's why we have to suffer to ensure that we do not sin. Because he that is dead is freed from sin. Yeah? I find a law then, that when I would do good, evil is present with me. That is the whole bottom line. That is why we have to worship. And that is why you have false worship. And that's why you have few true worshippers in the world. Because people are in the flesh, pretending as if they are spiritual. If you want a greater example, go into the Christian church with their Holy Ghost. They have all their tongues and their that is their worship in the flesh. And they never, ever act like that except they're in the church. I was in one of those churches and it always marveled me when we're out in the road and we're talking and everything. People don't act like that, but when we're in the church, that is when they act like that. Carnal worship. Hey. For I delight in the law of Yahuah after the inward man. So the inward man delights in the truth of Yahuah, in the law of Yahuah. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. So there is something in me, in us, that wars against the truth. We know the truth. We want the truth. We want to live the truth. We want to live righteously. But there is something in us that is fighting against us. And this is the flesh and its desires. Oh, wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? I thank Yahuah through Yahushua Mashiach our master. So then, with the mind, I myself serve the law of Yahuah, but with the flesh, the law of sin. So we will continue to serve sin as long as we continue in this and with this leading us. That's what he's telling us. So in order to get the mind to work, we have to bring out the inner man. And to bring out the inner man, we have to crucify the flesh with its affections and lusts. Hey. You can read more for yourself. Ephesians 3:14-19, 2 Corinthians 4:14-18. Read those for yourselves. I think that one in Romans is profound. Because the reason we have to crucify this flesh is that even the wicked will show himself to be righteous. The wicked man can pretend to be righteous. He's wicked inside, but he shows forth righteousness in order to do what? To get his wickedness. Sirach 19:26. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. Casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not, where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. And if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity, he will do evil. So he will act nice and everything, but he will do evil. So I have to make sure that we are walking in righteousness, because even a wicked man can have the appearance of righteousness. So ask yourself, are you a true worshiper? Are you a true worshiper? Or are you worshiping in the flesh? This is what all of us need to know. And remember, being a true worshiper begins with denying self. Like everything else in righteousness, it begins with denying self. Are you a true worshiper, or are you worshiping in the flesh? If you are worshiping in the flesh, then your ruach cannot be accepted, will not be accepted by the Most High. Because Mashiach said, the Father seeketh such to worship him. Yahuah is a ruach. They that worship him must worship him in ruach and amat. So that is why Mashiach gave us Matthew 7:21-23. This is why. Because we are going to have people in the flesh who are going to show and manifest that they are on the right path. They are going to look like believers, appear to be believers, but they actually are not. So we have to make sure that we are true worshipers, or else this ultimate trap is going to get us. Matthew 7:21-23. Not everyone that saith unto me, Master, Master, shall enter into the kingdom of Shamayim, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in Shamayim. So you have to be able to do his will. And you cannot do his will when you are in the flesh. They that are in the flesh cannot please Yahuah. Many will say to me in that day, Master, Master, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? Because the Most High will give you a strong delusion if you do not want to believe his truth. He will make you believe a lie. And he will give you gifts, because the gifts of Yahuah are without repentance. He give you the gifts, and you are using the gifts and powerful in the gifts. That guy is powerful in Yahuah. Since I came to South Africa, yeah, I heard about some great prophets. Oh, that guy's a great prophet. He can do this and he can do that. But these people are walking in what? Unrighteousness. This is it. If you are not doing the will of Yahuah, if you are not walking in righteousness, if you are not a true worshiper, you will be given your gifts, and the gifts will not benefit you, because in the end you will hear verse 23, and then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So you are working iniquity, thinking that he knows you. He doesn't know you. Why? Because You were in the flesh, and he is in the ruach. The Father communicates with us through his ruach. So the ruach was not in us, communicating with Mashiach, communicating with the Father. Yes? It was not with us. And so Hamashiach was not with us. His presence might be there, but the indwelling of his ruach was not with us. And so he never knew us. We were just given the gifts and we were just going through it. People, we have to make sure this never catches us. Are you a true worshiper? Are you a true worshiper? This is a question we all have to ask ourselves. That was today's teaching. I thank you very much for watching or listening. Hey. Yada Yahuah. All right, let me see what's going on here. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, out on Zoom. Man, no sound on YouTube. How long did it go away for? Was it long? Oh, come on. All right. All right, sound is clear. All right. Oh, where are we? Oh, that was a long time. Man, they put the different things together. Oh. Somebody's asking about remarriage and sexual sin. Boy, that's a heavy one. That's a heavy one. Let me see what's going on there. Let any things on. Let me see the chat. Greetings, brothers and sisters. May the Most High give us his wisdom and understanding in this teaching. Barak you, brother, for this as child of the Most High. Hey. Shalom, Joshua. Shalom, Sherry. Mike, Zabida, child of Yahuah, Chasad, Shalom. John 14:15. Shalom. Wesley, Shalom. Audrey, Shalom. Barak be so worship in ruach, understandable. Shamarian, Lioness. Is the ruach Mashiach the same as ruach Akadosh? I hope that one was answered. Brought you up out of Egypt, went south. Hallelujah. All praises and thanksgiving to the Most High, Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya, Yahuah, and unto his begotten Son, Yahusha, Mashiach. Shalom to everyone. Shout out from Jamaica. Who else is here again? We have James Daniels, Steve P., James McWhorter. Shalom to you all. Shabbat Shalom, Kali Osborne, Bitter Herbs, Radcliffe, Shalom. One Hip Chick, Shalom, Kimberly. These teachings are so important. All praises to the Most High. Liston Kapatula, Shabbat Shalom from Zambia. Zambezi River, Lusaka, Zambia. Shalom Yafa. Yahuah said, put no other above him. That means nothing or none. All right. This was all done by design to make Yasharal far away from who we serve, the same way Pharaoh did in Mitzrayim. Idols are now called statues or art pieces. Yahuah also said we cannot serve two masters. We will love one and hate the other, or accept one and deny the other. We will know who we serve by the fruits present in our lives today. Mavis Brooks, so sorry to be late. All praises to the Most High. Wayne Menzies, Shabbat Shalom. All right. D'Angelo Evans. Sherry, you didn't receive an email. Wow. Man, did I answer? Man, I have to put something. I have to put something about email. You see, when I leave here and start spinning around, I forget. All right, yes, this will get us through this time. Need to read these scriptures as reminders every day. CC, great teaching. Wow, this teaching is helping me so much. All praises to the Most High. Yudian, Jennifer Coleman. All right, Shamarian said this adds on to what I've been led to study the past few days, and the knowledge plus understanding just continues to grow. Yada Yahuah. Truly edifying. Shalom, brother. All praises. Sing child, happy Samba. Great lesson. Like David, we must all be praying that the Most High create in each of us clean heart and renew on the right ruach within us. Brian Beno, shalom. All right. This is why fasting and prayer is very important in the way. We must fast on a regular basis. This will help us to be able to deny ourselves from ourselves and this world system. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yahuah. All right. I had sound the whole time. All praises. Kimberly, so grateful Yahuah brought me to your teachings. Thank you for all you do. All praises. Brian Bino said, give examples of denying self. Man, that is hard and easy. It's hard and easy at the same time. Denying self is actually putting self out of the picture. Everything you put yourself out of it. So you don't really care about anything really for yourself besides food and shelter. You just go through life seeking to do the will of the Most High, seeking to follow Yahusha, seeking to love your neighbor as yourself. Making sacrifices, presenting your bodies a living sacrifice, kadosh and acceptable unto Allah. So, for example, I'm going to give an example of denying self-love. My mind is blank. It's so easy, yet so hard to find. I guess probably from what I just said. You can, for example, now, let me give an example. In this world, now, for example, you are there and you are seeking to serve the Most High. And you realize that in serving the Most High, there are certain things that you cannot do. Now, you are seeking to downscale your life, to take away the comforts and the everything out of your life. And while you're seeking to take out the comforts, then you get an opportunity arises for you to be even more comfortable. Now, if you accept that, then the self becomes more comfortable. Yeah? But you reject it. Because what? You are denying the self. You are not feeding the self what the self wants and what will satisfy the self. So, for example, some people, when they decide, you know what, I'm quitting that job because that job will not even allow me to keep the Sabbath. But it's a high-paying job. I want to keep the Sabbath. And then guess what? When you decide that you're going to quit, you go to them and say, you know what, I'm going to quit because such and such. And they come and say, no, we need you. We're going to put on X amount of money on your salary. Now you have to start thinking, boy, if they put on that amount of my salary, whoa, in 2 months I'll be able to do this and I'll be able to do that. And I'll be, you know, I'm just giving an example that came to mind. So, you know, that is actually denying the self. So you deny the self for the sake of righteousness. Yeah? All right. Yeah. All right, you understood. All praises to the Most High. All right. All right, so let me go here. And please, people, those who are online, please like the video. Please like the video. Please do like the video. Comment, leave a comment if you can. Share, please. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe so that the channel can get its strength. The channel gets its strength by your contribution. If nobody contributes, if people just come and leave, then it will not get the power to be pulling other people. Because I believe Just Already is one of the best kept secrets. All right? One of the best kept secrets. And it's because the people who come here don't really promote the channel. This has been so for umpteens of years. People just come and eat at the table and leave. Nobody contributes really anything. Yeah? So please do what you can do. And it should really, truly help the channel. All right? All right, so. All right. All right, so those who are on Zoom, how's it going? Nice to see you, Yazia. All praises to the Most High. Who is Shalom? You can write it in the chat. Somebody asked about remarriage, sexual sin. Boy, I don't even want to touch that one today. Don't want to touch that one today. At all, at all. Who's Shalom? All right. Okay then, so. Oh, Shalom left. Person got shy. Okay, so anything you want to say before we go? 3 minutes to 7 here. All right, so let's keep in touch. Okay. And only hope you were edified by this. And shalom. Shalom. Let me get off YouTube. Let me first, before I get off, let me check if there's anything, any questions, anything. This is good. Marigold Dies says, thank you, brother. Your teaching today was the answer to my prayer last night. Barakah. All praises to the Most High. All praises. Is there a lesson on the feast days and how to keep them? We have different lessons. I think we have over 330 odd videos. We have covered almost so many things. But they are scattered all over. I don't know. All right. Do you have a calendar for the dates of the fall feast coming up? For the dates of the fall feast, for us, one hip chick. For us, it is the start of the year. The year will start around, I think around September 22nd. We are in the southern hemisphere, not hemisphere, the southern part of the world. And we believe that the land is in the south. We believe that the time was kept in the south, sub-Saharan Africa, not in that place that they call Israel. And so we keep the time and the feast based on the south. So right now I am actually working on the calendar, waiting for inspiration, for instructions, insights on the calendar. I'm kind of understanding the calendar, the clock that we have up there with the sun and the moon. I'm kind of understanding it, except as it goes to the days of the week. That's where I am at now, the last part of it, to get the week and to even judge as to whether the Sabbath is actually on, we are keeping the Sabbath on the right day. That's where I'm at now. So as to the calendar, I can't help you on that. If the Most High reveals it to us, and there is a brother that I am communicating with who also has good understanding of this, and I'm waiting on him for some more information as well to kind of get the insights, all right? So as I said, coming up will be the start of the year and Passover, etc. for us. Okay? So that is why I said there was so much fooling around with the Passover, everything, because I believe it is at the wrong time. All right, so thank you very much, and shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom, shalom.